Good evening, Chair Eidsvog and members of the County Board and other guests and citizens of Portage County. By the way, a copy of this speech is posted on the county's website for anybody who would like to get a copy at some point in the future and reference it again. It's only been a year since I delivered my second State of the County address, and it seems like a lifetime ago, very frankly, if one measures it by the magnitude of changes that have taken place at the state level and also at our local level. And I want to start off by acknowledging the incredibly hard work that department heads and workers at all levels are doing across Portage County's operation every single day in service to the people of this county, especially in light of the changes that have been brought about through Act 10, the Budget Repair Bill, and Act 32, the Biennial Budget Bill. I'm inspired, I mean this very sincerely, I am inspired by the creativity and the dedication and the diligence and the teamwork that I have observed. And this is all while the staff is facing and assisting all of us in facing the challenges ahead of us. Just yesterday, as an example, 2 different department directors chose to acknowledge their colleagues for a job well done. And they copied me on those communications to make me aware of their teamwork and their pleasure with the way that we were working together. I am pleased with this growing sense of unification across departments and the teamwork that I see as continuing to move us forward in a positive direction. I also want to acknowledge the hard work that you, as county leaders, are doing, each of you, I believe, with a vision for a better Portage County in mind. And I know that some of you have incredible workloads associated with your roles and on various committees and boards, especially since we've downsized the county board from 29 to 25 members here in Portage County. While we may not always share the same point of view on decisions that we must make, you can be sure that I recognize your dedication. Portage County, now to turn to the rest of the report, Portage County is in stable and healthy fiscal position. For our 2012 budget, you'll remember we shrunk the levy pie for the first time in more than 30 years for this county, an extraordinary accomplishment. Putting it another way, we set the goal to decrease operational spending in times of rising costs, all while we kept the tax rate flat for people who are experiencing tough times across this county. And all of that while we dedicated an extra $100,000 of the pie, if you would, for capital projects, making it a total of $400,000 now of capital funding that we have integrated into our operating budget. As we build up this capital fund as part of our levy pie, our goal is to reach somewhere around $1 million. We decrease how much we need to borrow to take care of capital improvement needs in the county. And this is a much more sustainable business approach. This causes us to continue to strive on a daily basis for a more streamlined county government operation as we do our best to hold the line on taxes for everybody. This past year has been extraordinary in other ways, too. Here are just a few examples. Portage County joined the state CCAP, that is the Consolidated Courts Automation System. Part of the process involved verifying the accurate transfer of 180,000 electronic court records. The CCAP conversion also involved revamping many of the communications processes between departments and taking on new financial software, a gigantic upgrade in technology to help us track the $10,000 of revenues each week that pass through our clerk of courts. To liken it to a spider web, as Trish Kalbaker, our clerk of court, shares with me, it's like a spider web of connections, and CCAP just threw a football through the middle. So we had to reconnect all of those fibers, if you would, all over again. So many accolades to all of you who've worked so hard across Infotech and courts, and we have so many others in our law enforcement system as well. Other notes of extraordinariness, I think, this year. We have new leadership new leadership in information technology, in purchasing, in highway and justice programs department leader positions, along with the newly appointed clerk of court. Our Register of Deeds office dovetailed the listing service for all City of Stevens Point properties into their existing county operation when the city eliminated the service. This listing service, fulfilling a state mandate, ensures that we have an accurate information base related to parcels and their ownership and mapping and tax assessments. On another note, our solid waste recycling program has turned around and it now operates in the black. Our Aging and Disability Resource Centers added 3 new prevention and early intervention proven to work programs for our citizens of this county. This is a 60% increase in evidence-based programming. These programs offered are helping us improve the lives of our residents, enhancing their quality of life, their health, their independence, all while preventing falls, a leading cause of death in our county. In addition, the ADRC partnered with the University of Wisconsin-Madison School of Pharmacy with a pilot program called Get Med Wise to help people learn to communicate better with their pharmacist, more effectively manage their medications, and reduce their risk of falls. Our Veterans Service Office has helped veterans and their dependents tap over $23.8 million in benefits in 2011. This is up 14% over 2010. I organized a shared services group made up of directors of human resources, finance, purchasing, facilities, corporation counsel, information technology, and the county clerk's office. These are all departments with functions that make or break the efficiencies and effectiveness of all of the other departments. This group meets monthly to suggest process improvements, share leadership strategies, and make policy recommendations that help to advise on improving our whole county operation. And I really want to commend them for all the extra effort it takes to take this on, too. In a public-private partnership, we joined the United Way in a 40-60 financial arrangement, respectively. That is, Portage County was the 40% contributor, to ensure that critical child welfare capacities were retained after state funding for POCAN was diverted. Through this winning program, we protect children and divert families from formal child protective services involvement, at the same time reducing overall costs to Portage County. Health and Human Services, as a note of a very important note, Health and Human Services has seen 397 referrals to Child Protective Services in the first 6 months of this year. That is 397 referrals for Child Protective Services in the first 6 months this year. Compare that with the last 6 months of 2011, and that's a 22% increase. From these referrals, Portage County Health and Human Services has opened 150 cases for investigation in the first 6 months of this year. Again, a 32% increase in open cases compared to the previous 6 months. Talk about growing needs. Our Clerk of Court's office has been exceptionally busy, as most of us know here, working in cooperation with municipal clerks, poll workers, and election inspectors to administer several elections, all while incorporating the ever-changing election laws and policies. All of our elections went very well despite the changes, so thank you for making that possible. Working through teams of department head staff and county board members, we wrote new HR policies and continue to transition in the post-Act 10 era. Our Phase 2 energy plan on transportation fuels was completed. It was the first comprehensive analysis of our county's fleets, fuel use, and related energy conservation opportunities. We now know that Portage County spent, in its baseline year of 2010, which is our starting year for this kind of data measurement, we spent over $736,600 on transportation fuels alone. Knowing this is the first step toward saving fuel and reducing costs in our future. We successfully implemented a staff share between Parks Department and the Highway Department, boosting the Highway Department ranks during their high season, which is winter, when Parks experiences its slower season. This initiative saved jobs. We also funded a shared dietitian position between our Aging and Disability Resource Center and our healthcare center to stretch our budget while we provide credentialed coverage in a shortage field of expertise. And finally, in the list of what's been extraordinary, before we get to the second part here of this presentation, we've been looking with fresh eyes at many things, many ways of doing things, challenging things that have been done the same for a long time. Maybe even sometimes asking questions that hadn't been asked in the recent past or hadn't maybe ever been asked as far as we know, and exploring different models, challenging ourselves to find ways to accomplish our mission as funding gets even tighter and the needs continue to grow. Our consideration of the ways to integrate child support and health and human services is one such exploration. And a current exploration is also about how we might adjust our emergency management department design to allow us to have better focus and improve our readiness and response. Now, looking forward, there are many challenges and there are many opportunities. I'm going to highlight 7 challenges that I see as facing us in the near future and what I see as their respective opportunities to be. These 7 areas are healthcare center, information technology, joint dispatch, physical space planning, justice, economic development, and groundwater. Healthcare center, the challenge, in a nutshell. Bring the healthcare center into balance so that we can continue to serve the citizens of this community with quality care for generations to come. The challenge, focus on the goal of retaining the home as a county-owned operation so that we can add to the mix of available beds in our area and ensure that our most vulnerable citizens have a place to go for excellent skilled nursing care when they may not be accepted at other facilities. Of interesting note, Portage County as a whole has 214 skilled nursing home beds, 100 of which are located at our healthcare center. Our 214 nursing home beds correlates with just 2.4% of our current county population ages 60 and over. Compare this, though, to Marathon County that has beds correlated to 5.2%, and Wood County correlated with 4.8% of their population ages 60 and old and over. So we're less than half of what others or half or less than half of what others are offering in a ratio of beds to aging population at this time. Information technology. The challenge? Continue to transform our homegrown to a more modern technology platform, a more integrated platform. The opportunity? Improve staff efficiencies and data-driven decision-making while we improve internal controls and public access to information. Our recent purchasing department internal audit reinforced the importance of this opportunity. Joint dispatch. The challenge. Building buy-in and trust and collaborative ownership for a joint dispatch model. The opportunity. Develop performance standards to be reviewed annually for a new joint dispatch operation that all stakeholders, that is law enforcement, fire, and EMS, all can trust, participate in, and guide forward. Physical space planning for county operations. The challenge. Define the campus concept and project space needs for 20+ years into the future. No small task. The opportunity. A long-term plan with a phased-in approach will help us in moving forward in a logical sequence as we plan for administrative, law enforcement, court, and human service missions. A long-term plan will also help us be wiser stewards of our fiscal and other resources. Justice, the challenge. Balance public safety with restorative justice. The opportunity. Use the pilot project from the state's Department of Corrections to build capacities both in county government and in our community, to assist us in successfully and safely returning offenders to our community. Economic development. The challenge. Retain our existing businesses while we seek sustainable growth that aligns with our community's values and vision. The challenge. Focus our economic development resources and efforts to build the tax base in both our urban and rural areas. I believe that partners across our community, including our Business Council, CAP Services, business leaders, municipal leaders, and many others, should give serious consideration to developing a public-private economic development corporation equipped with all the tools to make it happen. A discussion about this opportunity has already begun. Groundwater, the final of the 7 challenge areas I wanted to highlight tonight. The challenge, as is made apparent during this drought emergency, the challenge is to meet all of the competing needs today while we manage the groundwater rights of every Portage County citizen and industry tomorrow. The opportunity. We can take matters into our own collective hands and establish our own parameters for wise practice rather than wait for the state regulations or crises to inspire action. I'm planning to attend the Groundwater Citizen Advisory Committee on Thursday this week to focus on this opportunity. Challenges, yes, we have many. Opportunities, they abound, without a doubt, absolutely. Helen Keller once wrote in The Open Door that life is either a daring adventure or nothing at all. Indeed, this has to be called an adventure, in these times especially, as we address the challenges and as we do our best to seize the opportunities before us. I will look forward to continuing our good work together. Thank you very much.